So I just wanted to give you a very quick update on how the progress is going, assessing whether this triangular arbitrage for Uniswap V3 is worth the time and effort or not. And so far, it actually looks very promising. So you can see I've got a bunch of surface rate opportunities that are coming up here. And I've really been working more on the UI because I'm playing with this. I want to get a feel for it. I want to experience the app before I decide whether or not it's worth, putting on Crypto Wizards or not. But the long story short is there are triangular arbitrage rates coming up. So for example, this 1.77 with, USDC to wrapped ETH, rune to wrapped ETH, rune to USDC is coming out at 177%. So 0.01 means a 1% opportunity, etc. Now, these are just at the surface rate, so you can only take this with a pinch of salt. For those of you who haven't seen the prior videos on arbitrage, surface rate essentially just means what is it at face level value at face value where you're not going into the depth yet. And so, in the previous video, I showed you how I was using Uniswap V3's SDK to actually get proper price quotes, right? The actual quotes. So the next stage on this will be to add a button where, a user can go in, or I would say an explorer, a hunter, somebody's hunting for arbitrage opportunities, can go in, click that button. It will go and look at the depth and spit out yes or no, right? It'll just do that automatically. Could you automate all of that? Probably, but that's probably for a future project at some stage if I want to work on that. For me, if I'm doing arbitrage ever, I want to make sure that I'm fully in control. And there's just something about being in control, seeing the steps, working the steps, in trading that I think semi-automatic is also a good thing. Really, what I would suggest that someone like myself would do, I can't suggest you do anything because I can't give you advice on this, and this is just for education and for entertainment on YouTube. But the way I would approach it is I would use, Solidity, and I would use the Remix editor or whatever you would use for Ethereum, and actually write some test, scripts to execute a trade based on these pool contract addresses and potentially a flash loan, right? So that it would all get done sort of in one block, in one trade. That's something I've never done before. It's probably worth doing and documenting it here on the channel, just so you can see, how that would actually get put together. And also it would be a great chance for me to go back and pick up some of the Solidity that I was learning as well. But regardless, I am seeing some arbitrage rates coming up here. Now, what does that mean? So, I've brought up an example here of the triangle, and you can see we've got, 3 different swaps going on. We've got USDC to wrapped Ethereum, we've got 1 inch to wrapped Ethereum, and we've got 1 inch to USDC. So the idea here with triangular arbitrage is, let's say, for example, I'm starting with USDC. I would sell my USDC to acquire wrapped Ethereum. Once I have my wrapped Ethereum, I would sell my wrapped Ethereum to acquire 1 inch. And then I would sell my 1 inch to acquire USDC. So I've ended up back where I've started. And you'll notice that, these coins, they're all jumbled up, right? So the algorithm had to be clever enough to know, how do I assess which one I start with, which one do I end with? And the reality is it does it both forwards and in reverse. So it's doing it, this way around, but it's also doing it this way around and hopping around as well. And you will actually notice that if you do the math, if you do the calculation, you actually work out that sometimes forward might not have an arbitrage opportunity, but reverse does. And so, in any triangular arbitrage tool that I've developed for this platform, it's always looking at forward and reverse, just so that, you're catching everything. So let me give you an idea of how this is working. If I refresh this page, this is just on my local machine right now. It's not on the platform. If you go to the Crypto Wizards platform, you won't see this there because it's still in development. I will let you know if I put it on the platform. But right now you can filter by how much liquidity, or how much, I should actually call this the total value of Ethereum locked in the contract. So you can filter whether you want that to be high, low, or random. You can limit how many coins that you wanted to look through. So with triangular arbitrage, for example, if I selected 1,000 coins, this would take a long time to run, And you would have to keep telling your browser that you're okay for it to keep going. It would take like 2 minutes to run. If you're doing it, for 250 coins, it actually takes more like seconds. And the reason is it's going through each coin and working out all the possible triangular arbitrage coins that could work with it. And then it has to calculate the triangular arbitrage. And so you're not just doing 1,000 coins, you're actually doing like 1,000 to the power of 1,000. It's not quite that, but it's a lot. So, the limit here is going to be 1,000 coins because it really doesn't make sense to have much more than that. But essentially here, let's say I want to do, first of all, let's just start with 100 coins and say anything with at least 1% return potential opportunities. So when I click this, it goes and it fetches that for me. So you can see here there are 2 opportunities, one with 20% and one with 1%. Now we're not there yet because it hasn't checked the depth. That's what I'm building in next, is a way to quickly check the depth of these opportunities. And then, one could actually just go copy the contract addresses, put them into a script, or go straight to Uniswap V3 and see if you can find the pools that match this to actually go and, trade that. Now, again, I need to be careful here because this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. But nonetheless, it's freaking cool, and I really think we should build it. So that's what we're going to do. That's the next step. This hopefully was an interesting update for you. Again, it gives you an idea of what's happening behind the scenes. You can see that here I'm using that same GraphQL query I showed you in more detail in the last video. And then here's the script to basically, calculate a lot of the triangular arbitrage stuff going on over here. So that's what I'm working on. The next step for me is going to be to have it calculate the depth and the triangular arbitrage with the depth. So that's what I'll be working on the next moment that I get the opportunity to do it. So interesting stuff. So far, so good. Take care. Talk soon.